what I've got over here. Hey folks, well today, instead of doing painting, I'm going to show y'all how I make my eyes. I'm going to show y'all how easy it is to make your own custom eyes. These eyes are actually eyes that I made. They look really good. I mean, I think they go with that lure really well. They really set it off, make it unique. So I figured today, instead of doing painting or a style or something like that, I'll try my best to give y'all a kind of an in-depth way of how I make my eyes and how simple it really is. And it's probably just me, but when I first started doing it, I definitely seemed overwhelmed with it or felt overwhelmed. So if y'all want to see how I do the eyes, stick around. Watch this video. Alright, let me get a few things out of the way. I'm always only halfway set up. Now, me and my wife, we do have a printer. I forget what type. I can't remember if it's inkjet or what. But I get on different places online, like Etsy and stuff like that, and I find these files where you can actually buy the file to go onto I can't remember the program. I should have been more prepared for this, but she has a program on the computer that allows her to be able to get these files off Etsy. She can bring them up and then print them onto printable vinyl, and then of course once it prints, it just has to dry a little bit. But either way, even if you just printed it out on regular paper, this would still work. I'm trying to keep the glare down where y'all can see it. I don't know if it's working or not. I said, I'm still getting used to doing this, guys. But for the sake of today, we're going to do a 10 millimeter, which I can't remember if these are exactly 10 millimeter. Some of these, even though they say 10 millimeter, they might be an 8 millimeter. But it's real simple. You'll get different sizes and stuff like that. My tools won't open up. So let's get the 10 millimeter. And all I use is a hole punch that's made for leather and stuff like that. Come on, focus. Thank you. But this is just a simple leather hole punch. Now you can use most any kind of hole punch. You gotta make sure they're good and sharp. Now we will set that on here. Okay, yeah, these are some of the ones I'm talking about. That says 10 millimeter, but it's a little bit short of it. So we're going to try an 8 over it. I think an 8 is actually what fit them really good. Maybe it's a 9. We'll figure it out. We'll get this figured out. Yeah, these are actually more of a 9 to get full color. And with this, these punches were actually a set I got off of it was either Amazon or eBay. And that came with a little plastic disc And most of these will have numerous sets. Let me see if I can find one. These bigger ones usually look like they're running together, but most of the time they're going to look more like this. I know y'all can't see that very well. That glare is horrible in the camera with these. That's a very reflective film. Let's see if I can get it back here. And no, you might have to search around, but there will be two identical. On this particular type I'm holding right now, they're not lined up, so you'll have to get one out of each. So let me see if I can show you how I do this. Okay, now this one, its pairs are next to each other. So let's pick, I don't know if y'all can see it or not, let's pick this one here. It's got a little bit of purples and stuff in it. Make sure I got my hammer. I do recommend a brass hammer so you don't mess up the ends of these. I just have a regular ball peen hammer. You don't need anything that heavy. But just try and make sure you line it up really good. Once you get it feel like it punched all the way through, you go ahead and take the punch and just rotate it a little bit. Make sure it did cut all the way through. Because I do have one that has a nick in it. And that way you get a nice clean punch out. And if I go too fast in this video, please leave me a comment and let me know, and I'll try and do a better video. And then you'll just, of course, because it's not a heavy material, you kind of got to help it get all the way through. You know, get the punch outs out. Alright, let me get y'all over here. Take a trip on a favorite rocket ship. Alright, now we got two really neat looking eyes. Really reflective. Don't worry if there's slightly jagged edges. That does kind of get corrected when you install it. So you ain't got to worry so much about that. Now what I use as far as epoxy wise, because we are going to put epoxy on top of these to create the dome, and what I use is this UV resin. It's actually the hard type. You can get this at like Hobby Lobby, Michaels and stuff like that. I do recommend a hard curing epoxy. It doesn't matter if it's a thick or a thin. That really doesn't matter. Just make sure it's a hard curing epoxy, not a soft curing, because you will be having to push these eyes in. Not hard, but you know, you don't want to like crush the dome. And this one is, I think at our Hobby Lobby, it's somewhere around where there's a little jewelry trinkets and stuff that you can do epoxy with. It's like epoxy type jewelry, and it has no brand. This is what it looks like. Now I did modify it. I got some super glue tips and pulled through from the inside, and that way I got a nice small applicator tip. You don't have to do that. That's just the way I did it. And I do recommend the UV epoxy for doing this, because it gives you a little bit more control. You don't have to worry about it setting up while you're forming the eye. So let's go ahead and start doing that. Now these are a 9mm eye, so I'm going to do probably around 8 or so drops per eye. But with this little applicator, that's not very big. So let's go ahead and zoom in, get focused. I'm just going to let the drops actually just drop themselves off the tip. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And the reason I do that is it keeps both eyes about the same size and profile. That way you don't have a skinny one and a really big one on the same lure. And I keep it up high and let it drip down on it, because if you don't and you just try and fill the eye up, it will stick to the tip of the applicator kind of like honey, and you're going to fight getting it off there. It's easier just to let it drip down on there, whether you use big drops or a small tip applicator like I have. That's your personal choice. And now we just sit here and we give it a minute to let it all flow out. And one thing nice about UV resin, and most epoxies are this way, it will only flow out to the edges and then it will stop. So if you look at the edges, that epoxy has ran all the way to the edges. If it hasn't, you can gently tilt and watch it and let it grab them edges, and then lay it flat and let it level back off. And now what you're going to see when you hold it up and that's what I like. I like that kind of profile right there. It's got a little bit of a dome to it, but it's not really large. You see how it gives them eyes that whole reflective property. They went from a very flat sheet to a very 3D looking eye, kind of like what you would purchase. Alright, now let me go ahead and get the light set up, and I'll show you how I do that part. Alright, we are back. Alright, now the light I have, let me go ahead and turn it off so I can show it to you. It is an Everbeam that I bought off Amazon. It is a 50 watt and it's a 365 nanometer. Now that number right there is very important. With this type of epoxy, in general, you need to stay around a 360. You need to try and get a light that specifies 365 nanometers only. Now, if you're using a brand called Solarez, they require a little bit different nanometer wavelength, but you don't want to see it in a range of like 350 to 402. It needs to just be specified at this. You'll get a lot better cure, a quicker cure, and it will just be a lot easier process for you. And this particular light, I don't have any affiliates either, guys, just so you know. But this one right here on Amazon, it strictly specifies 365. And this light, the 50 watt, is fairly affordable, and this is all you really need. Unless you're doing a whole lot, then you'll need a couple more of these. And whatever you do, do not look into the light. Don't look into the light. UV is bad for your eyeballs. So we'll just take this, we'll just slide it up under there, and now we will wait. Alrighty. Now, with this particular epoxy, with this light, and being this close, it doesn't take very long for it to set up. I do have my gloves on because I'm getting ready to show y'all also how I put these into the lure. They usually stick really good when you're using vinyl and stuff, but I wanted to show y'all just in case you're using normal paper or something like that. Because like I said, the backing material, that's up to you. My wife does tumblers, so I have access to to vinyl and stuff like that. So I just use vinyl because it has a really good sticking back to it. It's not great all the time, but most of the time it sticks really good. It's probably gonna make a liar out of me in this video, because anytime you tell people something, you go to show them, it always makes a liar out of you. So we're gonna go ahead and pull that out. We're just going to tilt the light because we're going to be using some UV epoxy again here in a moment. So we'll spin around, don't mind my desk. This is where I do all my eyes and split rings and everything. So as you can see, they are nice and dry. Now, if you do get a bubble when you're dripping them in there, it's not the end of the world. It's really hard for me to duplicate a bubble. But what you can do when you're dripping it in there, if a bubble happens to get in there, don't mess with it yet. Go ahead and finish your count and get your other one just in case you get a bubble in there as well. And let it all settle and everything. And what you can do then is you can take a little lighter and you can get it lit and just bring it down near where that little air bubble is, and it usually instantly pops it. I don't know why. I've tried multiple different things. I even got 2 airbrush needles trying to pop it, and they don't pop. The best thing I've ever found is just let it settle for a little bit and use that lighter. And bring that lighter down to where, you ain't got to hold it there either. Just bring it down to it and come up. And that little air bubble goes right away. So we're going to put these eyes in this lure. Luckily, this lure takes a 9mm. See how that fits really pretty? I have a used airbrush needle here, and this is really good for taking the backing off. Let me zoom out just a little bit so y'all can see more about what I'm doing. So what I'll do is I'll get in here. It usually takes me a couple tries. And I'll get that backing separated. Now I usually try to find the deepest recess, and that's where I'll push into on the lure. Now we'll do the other one. But this works as a good placing tool if you have the sticky back. If you don't have a sticky back, you ain't got to worry so much about it. Now obviously these have a sticky back, so I can do both of them at the same time. But if you're using normal paper, then you'll need to do this next step one at a time. I have some fly tying UV epoxy. It's either like the super thin or the high flow or the flow type of epoxy, and reason for this is it's really runny, and I need that for this next step. So this next step, I'm actually locking the eyes in so that when I go, because this lure is not epoxied yet or clear coated yet. And I just trace that rim. I don't know if you can see that it's going down and wetting. Look right next to the needle, you'll see it wet. And that's all I'm doing. I'm not filling the entire socket. I'm just getting that rim, that edge of that eye. And then we'll take this and we'll put it right inside that light. And it won't take long for this stuff. This stuff sets really quick. Now, this is just I'm just going to stick it in there for a couple seconds to kind of set the epoxy. And then we'll take it out and we'll do the other side. And now I will, once I'm done, each side will set under the light for 5 to 10 minutes. Alright, now let's do the other eye. Like I said, don't mind my desk. And yes, you could do this with super glue, but with super glue, you run a chance of getting that crusty film when it sets up. Then you've also got to wait for it to set up. This sets up much easier, much faster, less chances of errors. And then since that's the second eye, we'll just slide on it there and we'll leave it there for about 10 minutes. And that's how I do my eyes. It's a real sweet, simple video. And like I said, if there's anything that you have questions on, please comment and let me know. If I've went too fast during a part, let me know. I have no problem redoing a video to help you guys understand what's going on. So basically all you need is a printer that you can download a file onto whatever program you use with your printer. We get ours mainly from Etsy most of the time, and then you'll take that file and you'll choose it and print it out, and then just get you some hole punches and punch the eyes out. You get your hole punches that range, from like 3 millimeters up to however big you need, and you'll just punch them out. And you'll get you some hard setting epoxy for the eyes, UV epoxy if you want to use UV, which is what I recommend. And then you'll get you a high flow epoxy. And see, now as I set that in there, it will help cure the eye even further. It will cure the rim even further. But the reason, like I said, I put it on the rim is when you go to clear coat this, some of these lures, they don't have a deep recess like this one does. So you might have a little hard edge around the eye, and you can actually get your fingernail in there regardless of what kind of clear coat you use, and you could actually pry it out. This locks it down and makes it flush with the body. So when you clear coat this, it's almost impossible. You almost have to intentionally pry the eye out. So that's how I do my eyes, folks. We're going to let this baby set up in here. And I said each side, I'll usually have a whole bunch of these and they'll all be in there and they'll have a rotation. But just set about 5-10 minutes per side. And that way I know it's 100% cure. That way I don't have any issues when I go clear coat this lure. So if y'all have any questions, please let me know. So there you are. That's how I do my eyes. And I have sheets and sheets and sheets of them. It is a lot cheaper to do it that way than if you was to, because I do have eyes that I buy still. There are some files where you just can't find what type of eye that I'm looking for, and I don't have enough knowledge yet of using like art programs and stuff like that to make my own eye. There are programs out there and art programs and stuff where you can make a circle or oval or you know, any shape you need for your eye. You can size it to a particular size, you can paint inside it and everything, and then print that out. And that is like the ultimate way of making all your eyes, because then if there's an eye out there that you like, you can do a really close representation, or if you're really good, you can probably copy it. I'm still learning some of this stuff with the computers and everything. If you notice, my videos and everything are still kind of a little rough. I'm still learning on that. So if y'all have any input, any help, please let me know in the chat. If y'all have found a better way or a different way, put it down in the comments. I keep calling it a chat, but down in the comments. And hopefully y'all like this video. If y'all did, please like, subscribe, and hit the little bell notification, and that way you can see all my videos that come up. I try my best to do at least one video a week. Sometimes I fail in that, but I normally will at least have one video every 2 weeks. It's hard for me to figure out what to show you guys. That's where the comments are really helpful. Let me know what y'all are wanting to see. I want to show what I do, but my main concern is helping people to learn different ways of doing their own styles, or learning patterns, learning how to use stencils, just anything that you're trying to figure out. I want to try and help you figure it out, or we will both figure it out together. So yeah, if y'all like this, let me know. Put it down in the comments, and we'll keep growing this channel. So I can't do it without y'all. We're up to I think 105 or 106. Not bad. This is my first year really messing with this channel. I'm not even a full year into it, so I'm happy with that small of a number. I know a lot of people have way more, but that means 105 to 106 people want to see what I'm putting out, and that's like 105 and 106 more people than I ever thought would. But I hope y'all have a wonderful weekend. I know it's not the weekend yet, but it's getting there. So I love and appreciate every single one of y'all. And again, if any part of this video you need me to go a little more in depth on, let me know. I have no problem redoing a video to concentrate on a certain part. Love y'all.